Okay, this is me and Rock's podcast on Persepolis by Marjane
Satrapi, Eric.
Satrapi, I'm sorry. Um, so just to start it off, Rock, what do you think are some of the character motifs and thematic topics?
I wrote some of them down in class. Those include like social class, freedom, like family and home, coming of age, learning, like heroes, martyrs, religion, justice, and then like revolution and war, and then like how Margie feels, like her emotions.
Yeah, I think that Revolution and War is, for me, that's like one of the big ones that I really took out of the book. Um, Throughout the book, we saw her being scared of war, the effects of war on her family, on her friends, on her town, like where she lives. Um, and it was just constantly brought up throughout the book.
Yeah, that I feel like that's where the theme is, like
Yeah,
like the death and like war, because throughout the book, at one time one of her friends' dad died. I think he was flying a
fighter.
fighter
Yeah,
jet, yeah, and he passed away in action, and the girl, I forgot her name, but she was super upset about it, and Margie basically tried to comfort her and tried to speak to her about it and just make her feel better, but it didn't really work, and the girl said that she wishes her dad um, could be,
alive and not a hero,
and then, or, yeah,
rather
and
than dead and a hero.
yeah, that's what she said. So, and I feel like the theme for the book, like part of it, because I feel like the book has a lot of like directions and a lot of different themes and like lessons and such. But I feel like one of them is like war affects everyone, and that
Mm.
includes your best friends and your family and people you love.
Yeah, so that's kind of ties into what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Um, and a couple ways that we can see these motifs and themes throughout the book are through graphic novel techniques. So one that I wrote about is on page 71. Um, this one is connecting to the motif of emotion or sadness. Margie is sad that her uncle Anush died. She really looked up to Anush. And the author uses graphic weight to attract attention, and show how important the page is. Like, basically the entire page is just black, so it's kind of hard to miss. Um, and along with the graphic weight, uh, she uses emanadas to show Margie is sad. Um, and she also uses the panel depth with the darkness around her and the planets and stars that are really far away to show how isolated and away from everyone she feels with these feelings.
Yeah, I agree with that. And another example is on page 89. It's when all of the cars are like escaping the fire, and they're like, it just shows like a ton of cars driving away from lots of fire and some cars burning up and etc. But basically, this this symbolizes the death and the horror of what's going on to the war, because all the people are trying to escape. They're trying to leave as quick and as soon as possible, but sometimes that can seem impossible because of everything that's going on around you, and the bombs and the people in the street and everything else.
Yeah. What graphic novel techniques would you say that page uses?
Um, well, it's not anything specific. Like, it's not an emanada and it's not a splash. So I feel like it just uses icons because it's two simple things. It's cars and fire, and those two things can simply and very usefully show the danger and like what's going on.
Yeah, and also since you're saying simply, it probably also uses simplification or amplification. Amplification through simplification. There we go.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah,
Didn't you have another one? It was page 102.
yeah. On 102, we see icons of keys around the people's neck, and that symbolizes or lets us know that these kids are going to war. Because earlier in that chapter, or are in war, because earlier in that chapter we learned that the kids that were going to war received these keys. It used simplification by showing people like sort of going all ragdoll as they're dead, and shrapnel blowing up all around them. Like that is very easy to pick out and realize that, oh, they are now dead because of this explosion that just happened.
Yeah, I think that part's really sad just on its own, because I feel like reading the book, there there were a lot of people that clearly wanted to fight, and the fact that they were just like getting kids and just sending them out and killing all of them and convincing them with this key that like basically the afterlife is better than this life, so it doesn't really matter, you know. It's like they were brainwashing them.
Yeah, and kind of going against, there were a lot of people that wanted to fight. There were also people that didn't want to fight because they thought that basically the government brought this war upon themselves, and they like thought that there were other soldiers that were thinking that it was shameful that they were bringing out kids, and like just watching them get off the bus wasn't a good feeling for them.
Yeah. All right. I feel like we should talk about heroes or martyrs, because because a lot of heroes in Margie's life were like her parents and her uncles, because her uncles came to her house and they talked about how they were heroes in the war and they escaped jail and they were tortured and beaten, and other friends of theirs had died, and they explained certain like torture methods such as like burning them with an iron, and Margie said that she didn't know that like something so
Use
simple,
the iron or clothes. Yeah, could do that.
and that was something that was very surprising for her. But she looked up to those two guys and she loved them very much, and that's one of the things that like shaped her mind about what was going on, and it's something that like motivated her to be more like in the topic, and she got lots of knowledge from them.
Yeah, and kind of like what we were talking about in the beginning of this podcast, all of this ties into itself pretty much. Like these people are heroes because of what they have done in this revolution, and with this revolution comes war, and with war comes death, and with death emotions because of that death. Coming of age, that is also a motif that we discovered. Coming of age, the stuff with that she experiences can help her, or like boost her maturity up a bit. If you kind of know what I mean. I don't really know how to put it into words, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was understanding the veil, because the veil was something that was very controversial in that time. There were a lot of different opinions on it, and lots of people liked it, and lots of people thought it was, something that would represent your religion, and that it's okay if you wear it. Like, that's awesome. It represents your religion, your love for God, your love for your country, etc. But on the other hand, lots of people from Iran were forced to wear it, And due to that, and due to them like telling people like they were forced to wear it, or else this would happen and this would happen, etc. It began to become this type of thing that didn't represent their country. It represented
Government's
them.
control over them.
Yeah, it represented government control, and it represented like the corruption of their country.
Yeah. What did you, like, if you were in that time, what would your opinions be on the veil?
Well, just like everyone else, it would depend. Like if I was a woman and I was forced to wear it, I would wear it because I was forced to. But I would be just like everyone else who like occasionally would put some of their hair out, or I would like wear it in different colors, or I would just do simple things to like make it like to go against the government and do my own thing rather than
Yeah.
doing everything that they say. So it would just be like little things that wouldn't get me arrested, but would still be like going against their exact policy.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of how some of Margie's neighbors threw parties to
Yeah.
defy the government. Like a lot of people would just do stuff to defy the government, but not directly to their faces. If you get what I mean. But yeah, I think that the veil. I don't know. I think that during the veil project. Never mind. But yeah, I think that the veil is, like you said, a symbol of corruption and stuff like that. But if you want to wear it, go ahead and like feel free to. Some people felt empowered by that choice. Some people thought that it was a symbol of their religion, but other people didn't want to wear it. And if you didn't want to wear it, I just said that it would have been fair if they just didn't have to wear it.
Right. Yeah, it's not. It's today. It's not a symbol of corruption. It's a symbol of love for your country and love for your religion and love for God in general. People in Iran and in the Middle East, I don't think are forced to wear it anymore. In some situations, they might be, but I'm sure that like they're not forced to wear it anymore.
Yeah.
But I feel like people in Iran, women in Iran, are like wearing it less and less because of like stereotypes and what people like in other countries think about it. Like in America, there are some people that think like when you wear it, it involves terrorism and stuff like that, and that is obviously horrible, and no one should think that way. But,
Yeah. Sorry to kind of cut you off, but I just want to like get this out there. This book did a really good job of making us realize that it's not a symbol of terrorism. It's not a symbol of extremists, and Marjane wanted to like dispel those thoughts. And I think that because you're talking about this right now and like realizing this, the book did a good job of what Mary Jane wanted to accomplish.
yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I cut you off.
It's okay.
So just to sort of wrap things up, a big theme and central idea, in my opinion, of this book was definitely war or revolution. During the start of the book, we saw that Margie would go to school normally, and there weren't really many effects of war on her life or the revolution. But as the revolution progressed and the story progressed, we saw Margie realizing what propaganda is with things like the first page of her school book, and then her believing that the Shah was chosen by God, and then realizing that it wasn't, and that was just propaganda. And later we see the effects of revolution with people dying, people being jailed, some people that are her family members, like her uncle Anush, and some people that are her friends. One of her school friends' dad died during the war fighting. He was a fighter jet pilot, like we mentioned earlier. And then in the end, we see Margie's neighbor's house get blown up, and
Eric, you had it. Bitch.
And we see Margie's neighbor's house get blown up, and that's just kind of a broad outline of what war has, what we've seen with war throughout the book. But to go more in detail, it would take a lot more time and a lot more talking. And we know that you have stuff to be grading.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, well, that'll wrap it up. I think we went into thorough detail about most of the things and the main events and motifs and etc. that happened in the book. So that was it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Or would like wear it in different colors or something like that. Just like that. Awesome. Now close and open. Let's go. Not this.